Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here today. It is my pleasure to announce today that through the leadership of Assemblyman Magnarelli, he has gotten us $10 million for infrastructure improvements and maintenance and repairs in the city of Syracuse. As all of you know, infrastructure is exceedingly important to economic development, cultural and social development in the city of Syracuse, and of course has become a rallying cry for me. We every day are faced with news of our deteriorating infrastructure, largely, frankly, as a result of the age of our city. You have seen and covered hundreds of water main breaks. We are on schedule to have a water main break every other day. We continue to break, unfortunately, records in terms of our water main breaks. In talking to the Assemblyman about this and the importance of this, he understood that and used his advocacy and leadership in Albany to bring state tax dollars back to us here to help us continue to and make advances in our infrastructure improvements. Before I let the Assemblyman speak, I just want to talk to you in a little bit more detail about what we're going to use this money for, and then I'll turn it over to the Assemblyman. We're going to take this $10 million and with the driving assistance of the innovation team, look at where we have had water main breaks, where we believe we have had weaknesses, talk to the Department of Public Works, and also use maps and GIS to look at where our streets are particularly bad. Also talk to neighborhood and business development about where we have businesses and permitting. And so we can use all of that data and information to drive towards a system where we can efficiently use this money so that we can operate under a dig once policy. So we can do complete reconstruction of roads, complete reconstruction of water mains, and other infrastructure that we find in the ground as well. So that the goal is to use this money to leverage other money from the state, perhaps federal government and local government as well, to make sure that we can have as much reconstruction infrastructure design built as possible. All of this would not have been possible without the assistance and advocacy and leadership of Assemblyman Magnarelli, and I want to go on record again as thanking him for being able to have this announcement today. It is exceedingly important, and I'm just grateful that he was able to work with us to deliver these resources, much needed resources to us, so that we can continue to deliver important public services like water and roads to the people of the city of Syracuse. Thank you. Assemblyman Magnarelli?
Mayor, I think you've said it all. We've got a $10 million grant for the city of Syracuse, and as the mayor has said, it's obvious that we have infrastructure needs. You know, the mayor is a leader as far as making sure that people are aware of what those infrastructure needs are, especially in our urban areas. Syracuse, unfortunately, on a state level, is no different than Buffalo and Rochester and Albany, Troy, Schenectady, Utica. You know, you can go on and on. So what I hope that this also does, besides giving the mayor a little bit of help in terms of reacting to the infrastructure needs of the city of Syracuse, I hope it also lets people know, especially in Syracuse, that state government is there, that we are looking for ways to help, and that we will be advocating for more infrastructure monies, not only now, but in the future as we go on. This is something that we're going to have to tackle, like we have to tackle other issues like healthcare, education, economic development. They're all important. And, you know, the mayor is a leader in this area, and I'm just very happy to be able to help wherever I can. So that's all I have to say this morning.
Thank you. So I want to also take this opportunity to thank the Water Department. Some of those employees are behind us here, and the Commissioner Summers is here as well. Is she behind us? Oh, she's behind us as well. They do an outstanding job of working within the system and delivering to people, the promise of delivering to them water within 24 hours of a break, often much quicker than that, but it is because of their work ethic, whether it's weather like this or whether it's freezing in February, that they are outside doing the nitty-gritty and heavy lifting to ensure that people of this community get clean and potable water to their systems. And I am always amazed at their work ethic and the kind of environmental issues that they have to deal with that they do with grace and aplomb to deliver the public service. So I want to thank them for that. With that, we'd be happy to take any questions that anyone has.
Can you talk a little bit more about how you plan to use the money as leverage and what the goals of that would be?
Sure. So this is a $10 million grant that the state, through Assemblyman Magnarelli, has secured for us. We are then going to, our innovation team is already looking at where we have weaknesses in our water main system, where the data shows us we've had a large number of breaks, where we've done repairs, overlay that with the data that the Department of Public Works has in terms of our road conditions and where we plan on doing road reconstruction. And then we're going to look at what we are able to borrow going to Wall Street, what our debt margins are, and also to see if we qualify for additional money for the state's Environmental Facilities Corporation, because there are qualifications that you have to fulfill in order to be eligible. We're going to see if we qualify under that. The federal government is currently debating a highway trust fund bill. If they are successful in passing that, we're going to see if we can get money under that bill as well for the roads. So our goal is to take the $10 million that the Assemblyman has secured for us and to multiply it to as large a number as possible.
How soon are we going to start seeing improvements to infrastructure in the city?
You will not see construction with this money this year, in this construction season, because there's going to be more planning that hinges on data, and that also is looking at our debt service and how much money we can get and looking to other entities. So that takes time to put that together. So this would be, I think, a construction project that would start next year.
It sounds like it's kind of a smart construction planning. Do you have, is there new technology working that makes it easier for you to do this?
I don't know if I would call it new, Ellen, but it's new to us. So it's using a lot of GIS mapping and data, and then overlapping the data from the water department in terms of water main breaks with the data from the Department of Public Works in terms of road reconstruction, then looking at sewers, and then looking at potential areas like where we would want broadband and experience with that. So we would definitely call it smart decision making and using data to drive decision making with efficiencies. We are also, as part of this money, going to secrete some of it to use towards new technology. So there's technology that's being used in cities in Japan as well in Boston that are sensors that you can drop into water mains, and they will go through the water main and measure the outside of those water mains and test to see where there's potential weaknesses, so that we can do preventive maintenance before. The most expensive maintenance you can do is when it's already broken. So we're going to be looking at different types of new technology that's being used in other places as well to see if we can, again, the goal is to take every dollar and stretch it as far as possible. And we think we have a real opportunity here to use the technology that we have in terms of information technology and data, but as well as new engineering technology to forward this. And these are the kind of questions that people across the country and frankly across the world are looking at. And so we think that given the age of our water system, given the sophistication of its design, and the fact that we are suffering from the same problems that they are in Los Angeles, that we have a real opportunity to be a leader in this environment. And that would not have happened but for the advocacy and leadership of the Assemblyman, which I'm grateful for.
Let me just say something to that, a little background story. The original grant was $9.2 million, not $10 million. And I received a phone call on a Friday night at about 9:30 from the mayor, basically going through what she just discussed with you about smart technology. And she got me at that point and said, do you think you can get us another $800,000 for that kind of technology so we can do the planning, so we can do all of the new things that are out there? And I said, you just had to round it out to that nice big $10 million figure, didn't you? But I think she's right in that regard, and the idea of using these kind of monies in the smartest way possible, I got to commend the city and the mayor for doing it that way. And when I had to advocate for the $800,000 more, it wasn't that hard a chore. So again, thanks for the phone call.
Is there a relative breakdown as far as how much research is going to cost if it used for this grant, and then what the remaining would be left for any reconstruction?
Yeah.
Well, we think $800,000 is going to be used for looking into what I'm going to call new leading edge technology to help us do preventive maintenance or to help us look at the overall of our system. But all of this money is going to be put towards putting designs and actual in the ground. So the people and the people that are going to be using the data and the data that they're going to be using already exists. They're already being paid for by the people of the City of Syracuse. This $10 million or 9.8 is going to be used to actually put shovels in the ground. And the 9.8 and the, did you say 9.8?
No, it's 9.2. 2.5 million for roads and 6.7 million for the water department.
So that
9.2.
9.2 will be used for actual construction. And the difference will be used for new technology, and all of the plans and designs and data already exists. It's already being paid for. It's already on the books, being paid for by the people of the City of Syracuse. So there is, let me be very clear about this. This money is going into the ground.
How much more do you need from these other entities, from the federal government and grants and whatnot? I mean,
Look, as much as we can get. And I said to I said to some folks yesterday, and not too facetiously, that it's at times like this, I think it's important to keep in mind that famous song. You can't always get what you want, but sometimes if you try, you get what you need. This is what we need, and we're going to continue to try to get as much as we can. And look, this becomes also a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we take this $10 million and we can expand it and then do good cutting-edge work, people are going to come to us with more money to say, you've done a great job in your first phase. Let us give you some more to try this new technology, these new designs, because the scale of Syracuse's water system, while it is large and the numbers are very large to us, it's not when you look at cities like Boston that are suffering from the same issue that we are, or New York City, or other northeastern cities, or places out west that are looking at water conservation and older infrastructure as well. So part of the benefit of being a leader is that if you do a good job at that, other people will come to you with resources and to say, we want to help you invest and do more.
Average cost fixed water main break?
There is no average cost because, it's so dependent on the environment. So the cost of doing a water main break today is different from the cost of doing it in February. And it also depends on the road. Or does it happen in the right of way? Does it not? Is there going to be road reconstruction? Is there not? So we budget about $800,000 a year for water main breaks, and it's on a pay-as-you-go basis. And that is not, the $800,000 that we budget is not enough. It will not be enough.
Does state money come from a particular fund, Assemblyman, or not?
It's called SAM. It's State and Municipal Facilities Program. And it's a fund that has hundreds of millions of dollars in it, and we each have to advocate for the projects that we believe are necessary to our assembly districts, and this obviously is one that I felt was very necessary.
were you surprised to get this, Mayor, considering the governor's tepid response to your plea earlier this year for infrastructure?
No, because I think everyone understands the importance of infrastructure, and an important part of my job is to be an advocate and to talk about my on-the-ground experience of what's happening in the city of Syracuse, and to communicate that to leaders in Albany. And to, there are a lot of people, there are a lot of issues, there are a lot of problems. that need government's attention, and part of my responsibility is to make sure that I get our problems to the top of the list. And with an advocate and assemblyman like Mr. Magnarelli, that is easier than in other places.
Two questions. Would, the money that's going to be used for in the ground, remedy problems complete and not just, temporary? And is this a chance to move from temporary fixes to more permanent solutions?
We hope so, but with our water system is 120 years old, and so we hope to be able to, at the very least, start to move towards preventative maintenance and start to think about what are the investments that we have to make going forward. But this is not, there are still going to be water main breaks. There are still, this money, while welcome and needed, is not going to be enough to to fix our system overnight. And we don't expect that to happen, and that was never the ask. But this will go a long way towards starting that process.
Would these be more permanent fixes?
Yes.
Money?
Yes, absolutely.
And why this site? Why was this chosen to make this announcement? What's going on here?
Because it's a great street in Syracuse. Because we're doing some regular maintenance in terms of fire hydrants and other things on the hydrant line, and the equipment happened to be here. But we have a wealth of riches when it comes to where water main breaks are. But this one, it's hard to plan where a water main break is going to be. There was some planned maintenance here, and again, the equipment was here, so that's why we did it here.
Due to the harsh winter, we saw a lot of more activity this past winter, I think, than previous, but always very busy. This time of year, though, you mentioned that there are still water main breaks to deal with.
There are. It used to be, when I first became mayor, we used to see the lion's share of our water main breaks in the winter, and we used to say, it's old and it's cold. But every year, the number of water main breaks that have occurred outside of traditional winter have dramatically increased. So and the number of water main breaks that we've had in the winter have also increased. So every year we're breaking records for number of water main breaks. And it's the age of the system. It was an exquisitely designed system 120 years ago. It is still an exquisitely designed, gravity-fed system that we don't need a water filtration plant because the water is so pure. And it is a testament to both the work ethic and the ingenuity of our forefathers who designed and implemented this system 120 years ago. And I think with the money that Assemblyman Magnarelli has secured for us, you're going to see us do our best effort to duplicate that ingenuity and that work ethic. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman.